Hey denture peeps, let's talk about immediate dentures and the good news and the bad news. I like to start off with the bad news because then we can always be feeling much better when we get the good news. So the bad news about immediate dentures is that it's a tough process, and that process is daunting. It's a roller coaster. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. The most frustrating thing, I think, with immediate dentures is that the dentures are loose almost right out of the gate. The reason that they are loose right out of the gate is because as the denture maker, I'm a denturist, so I see the patient and I make the dentures. But as a denture maker, we have to make those dentures a bit loose to begin with because we don't want those to scrape on your gums when they are inserted in the mouth. And when you take them out, put them back in, we don't want that scraping those very sore tissues. So they're loose to begin with, and the swelling starts, and it gets pretty swollen for the first 72 hours, and then after that the swelling starts to subside. When the swelling subsides, that denture is going to become very loose, and sometimes the upper won't stay up at all, sometimes the lower won't stay down, and they're just flip-flopping all over your mouth. In my practice, I do a temporary soft reline at 7 to 10 days out, depending upon the patient's progress and their healing journey. And then I tighten them up again at 4 to 6 weeks out. After that, sometimes the patient has to wear a bit of adhesive or one of the thermoplastic products to get by until that 6-month point. The reason that I don't tighten them up any more than 2 times in this process is because I don't want to thicken the dentures up too much. Dentures are made from the measurements, the specific measurements of your jaw and your jaw relation, the upper to the lower. There's a joint back here called the temporomandibular joint. In this hinge type joint, it's important for that to be closed at the proper level. This is an articulator, and this simulates that movement. Okay, so you want to be closing at the right position. So it's very important that we don't thicken those dentures up too much, because that would open up that hinge way too much and could cause some pain disorder problems in that temporomandibular joint. So moving forward, at about that 4 to 6 week time frame, you get that second soft reline to tighten up the dentures, and then they're going to get loose, between that point and that 6-month point, and you probably will have to wear some sort of product to keep those in, especially on the lower. So that's the bad news. They're aggravating. They're aggravating because they're loose. They're hard to keep in. They're hard to chew with. But the good news is that you're learning. You're learning to use a prosthetic device. You're learning to chew. You're learning to talk. And I think the biggest benefits for an immediate denture are that they are providing a bandage, a cover over those extraction sites in your mouth to protect those new tissues that are forming, those new cells that are depositing in those extraction sites. So that's good news, because that is really helping to form the ridge. That the shape of the ridge is going to conform to the inside of those dentures. I know that I've been doing this for decades, and my patients are very, very frustrated in the first couple of months, especially the first month. They're very frustrated with the process because the dentures are loose and there's sore spots that develop. That is why I give my patients a limited amount of adjustments in this process. But it's very frustrating and it's painful, and it can be embarrassing when the dentures want to be unstable. But it really, really gets better. I want to point out something that I have seen over the course of not just my practice, but in my experience having this channel on this platform and the other platform that I post on. The trend that I see are patients that are in this immediate denture process, usually in the first year, when they are shrinking and their dentures are not fitting correctly, and they're healing, and they're very, very frustrated. And that is most all of the content creators when it comes to dentures that you're seeing, is them having issues because their dentures are loose and they're not fitting together properly, and they're having problems eating, they're having problems speaking. But if you really pay attention, you're not seeing patients that have been wearing dentures for years and years. That is not what you typically see on these platforms with these denture content creators. And here's the best news of all. It's because they've gotten used to their dentures. They are adapted to wearing a prosthetic device in their mouth. They have usually gotten them very well fitting, and they are managing, and they are going on to post about different things in their life besides their dentures, because that is not on the forefront of their life and their thoughts, because you adapt to them over time. So there's bad parts of getting immediate dentures, and there's good parts, but it gets better. The first month is very difficult. Second month, it starts to get better. And as time progresses, it gets better and better. And that 6-month point, when you get the permanent reline, or in some cases, you get a whole new denture, a permanent denture, that is when you're at the light at the end of the tunnel. And it gets so much better. I really am passionate about informing patients and holding their hand through this process. And I have a platform that I am developing on here to really help patients going through this process. So like, subscribe, follow, share, do all of those things, and reach out to me if you have any questions. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.